Hey everybody, it's Eric from Eric's Edge. So this year, I decided to join Tech Ambrosia's Cheap PC Challenge. And instead of doing what everyone else is doing, which is trying to build the best PC they can for less than $100, I'm actually trying to produce the worst possible entry to get the lowest benchmark score possible. So, what I am going to do, let's see here. Um, Sorry about the roughness of this. So, Tech Ambrosia has done this before. Last year's challenge, I didn't enter. I didn't really follow it or anything. She played around with the rules a little bit and came up with a different, criteria. And basically, what you have to do is you have a budget of $100, and you that parts on that budget are the CPU, the GPU, the motherboard, and the RAM. The case, the power supply, all that doesn't matter. And then you have to run three benchmarks: the PassMark version 9 CPU benchmark, the Lost Planet DirectX 10 benchmark, and then the Google Octane 2.0 benchmark. And I tried to run just a Windows 7 machine that actually got from my father-in-law. When he passed away, we got some of his old stuff, and this compact Presario CQ56 is one of the things that he had. So technically, I did not purchase it. I did go out on the web and I went to eBay and looked at sold prices, and the average is about $30. So it's not strictly correct, but I'm going to enter it as a $30 purchase. If that disqualifies me, that's perfectly fine. I understand. Again, I'm trying to go for the bargain basement bottom performance machine anyway, so there is no winning here. Anyway, so let's go on to the next thing I've got, and that is the actual compact Presario. So this machine has a screaming Inteleron. This has a screaming Intel Celeron processor that's at 2.2 gigahertz. Single core, yeah. And it also has a mobile Intel 4 Series Express Chipset Family. The display adapter in this just barely qualifies for DirectX 10, which is why I decided to use it. I have an HP Mini that I was actually thinking about using, but it can only do DirectX 9, so there you are. So anyway, so let's run the Octane benchmark and see what we get. So I put Windows 10 on this machine. It's not licensed or anything. It's not going to be registered. As soon as I'm done doing this, I'm getting rid of it. So anyway, you can see that it's going to take a while to run the benchmark. Wasn't expecting speedy behavior out of this. And it's going to take a while to run the other benchmarks too, I believe. So Octane 2.0 was a standard that's got a long history. I believe people stopped using it because they were gaming the system and figuring out how to make their things look like they perform better, something like that. So, and it's still running. So we're just going to wait. There's going to be a lot of waiting in this video. Yeah, because it's not very fast. Here we go. Octane score of 4,535. Not very fast. All right. And the other is the Performance Test 9.0. So we're going to run that benchmark. Yes, this is going to take more than several minutes, I'm afraid. So maybe I'll speed this section up. Maybe not. It's doing floating point math. It did integer math first. And now it's running a prime numbers test. So I've used PCs, since they came out, basically. I think the first OS, disk operating system I ever used was PC DOS 3.1 when I was in college in '85. And then before that, I had a TI 994A computer. That was the first computer I ever owned. Anyway, it's still going through the CPU test. Now it's sorting. Single thread test running. Anyway, but I've mostly used PCs throughout my career. Was a Microsoft stack developer for most of my development career. Did a few things in like Apache and PHP, but mostly worked in the Microsoft stack. Well, it's doing some really funky graphics tests now. The static, I guess it's a static test, it doesn't appear to be too bad. It's drawing a jungle. Okay, now it's doing some images, fonts, and text. So I really like challenges like this, and honestly did not want to spend any money on it. That's the only reason I'm entering, is that I happen to have a machine on hand that would meet the benchmark. I just wanted to see how bad of a score I could get. I suppose I could have gone out and bought the hardware to do this, but what am I going to do with really bad hardware? It's just for fun. Maybe I'll get an honorable mention if I have a low score. Who knows? And it's still doing font and text testing. Looks like they used the usual Greek text, which is odd because it's in Latin, not Greek. Lorem ipsum. Okay, now it's doing some 2D graphics. Not very interesting, really. So it's testing out scrolling up and down. Okay. Back when I was programming in DOS, this would have been really fast. Oh, a rotating picture. Now it's playing with brightness levels for the picture, making it black and white, doing other funky things with it. Oh, now a sports car. Zoom. Literally, it's zooming in. And then it's doing some funky arrows and dots and other graphics. How do they pick these things? I really wonder about that. Okay, DirectX 9 testing. We have a cursor. Oh, here we go. Jets. Requested level of anti-aliasing not supported. So we're doing about almost 2 frames per second. Not very good, huh? Oh, we got over 2. Will it hit 3 frames a second? It's creeping up. .41. DirectX 10 test. It's thinking about it. Okay. Less than a frame per second. Oh, it jumped up to 3.5. 3.32. Most of the time it's below 1 frame per second. So I imagine this machine was purchased, it's a sub $500 laptop, probably new. My father-in-law didn't spend a lot of money on computers and things like that, so I mean, it's understandable. Skip the DirectX 11 and 12 benchmarks, that makes sense. This thing's not capable of those. So now it's doing memory testing. Did a read cached, read uncached. So I wonder how long it's going to take for it to run through all these, considering how slow this machine is. Memory write. Available RAM. I think this has, yes, 2 gigabytes of RAM. That hasn't been the standard in quite a while. Memory thread test running. So disk sequential read. So it's testing the disk drive. I didn't do anything special when I installed Windows 10 on this machine. It's just a stock install. Didn't do any tweaks or optimization, just did the basic install. This does not have an SSD in it for the drive. It's just the drive that it came with. It's not a terrible laptop for its time. Excuse me, it's after midnight. So I gave up on doing this because I was trying to get everything to work in Windows 7, and I ran into trouble with the Octane test because it needed a more modern browser. So it's doing a disk sequential write test. and a random seek and read-write test. And a CD DVD, which it doesn't have, I don't think. So we got a second percentile, a score of 264.2. So this machine is really, really low. Okay, so let's try the last test, which is Lost Planet. We'll start that up. This will take a little while to get going. Capcom, Dolby Digital, Sound Deluxe, The Way, NVIDIA. Now loading. Okay. So we're going to do the performance test. I turned the volume down because it's rather loud. And we're loading. This is going to be pretty much a slideshow, I think. Still loading. And oh, here we go. We're averaging 4 frames per second. Oh, now we dropped to 3. Yep, it's a slideshow. Wow, that is just, I couldn't imagine playing this game with this. Not much of a gamer. This one looks pretty intense though. So we're still averaging about 3 frames a second. Oh, these are lovely. Four frames a second. So was the planet lost because it was lost to all these creatures? Looks like it. Okay, we're still averaging 4 frames per second. I doubt very much my father-in-law played any games on this. If he played anything, it would have been solitaire. Okay, it looks like we got a solid 4 for the snow average. Hey, we're getting higher frames here in the cave. So we're averaging 5. Yeah, I would get a headache playing this. Okay, well, it looks like we're back to the beginning again. So we have an average of 4. The snow was 4 and the cave was 5 frames per second. Not very good. All right. So let's put it out of its misery. Okay. So there you have it. Not a great score. But what can you expect for a laptop this old, and it was probably an underperformer back in the day. Okay. Well, that's it. So let's go back, and that's it. So there's my entry into the contest. Totally understand if I'm disqualified because I did not purchase this laptop. It was actually free. Again, average price on eBay was $30. I actually saw one that was sold for $100. I don't understand why anyone would pay that much for this laptop. But like I said, most of the prices were between $20 and $40. So 30 is a decent average. Yeah, that's about it. Have fun, everybody. I'm looking forward to seeing all the speedy entrants in the game, the contest, and see who wins. All right. See y'all later.